At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes, and it's that time of the week where we talk about all the worst stuff in comics. And normally the curmudgeon of critical himself, Pele, would be joining me, but he did have a couple of family issues come up. He's fine, but we just couldn't get the recording done in time. So today, the Sultan of swearing himself, Perch, is on the channel. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm going to be a much calmer replacement for Pele there, but these comics are really shitty, so we'll see.
Absolutely, these are the worst of the worst, and X-Men was terrible this weekend. Yeah, or this last week. No, this is Brian Michael Bendis and Dan Slott, at their very worst best. So today we're going to talk about Legion of Superheroes. I think it's number 7, and Iron Man 2020 I think it's 5. It might be 4. I think it's 5 though.
It's 5. We're almost done with this horror, but really the numbers don't matter. They suck.
It all just kind of goes together now at this point. Let's start out with the Legion of Superheroes by Brian Michael Bendis. So this thing is an aimless comic book. There are plot threads in it, but it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. It's just a lot of people talking. But in this comic book, Brian Michael Bendis takes it to new heights. And I could have showed like 7 pages of just terrible dialogue in here, but I'm just going to go with 2 of them. And there's this stupid conversation where I guess Cosmic Boy goes and tries to talk to the United Federation of Planets. He's just apologizing profusely over and over. And then the president's like, we just incriminated whoever you were after, and there was no need for you to be here. But then Superboy himself has to go and save the day and apologize again. Yeah. And guess what she says? Guess what the president says before Superboy even gets to speak, Perch?
Well, the nobody needs to be here line is perfect because that's how you feel as the reader, by the way.
Absolutely. But before he could speak, the president does mention, I'm a big fan of your dad.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Of
course. Who wouldn't be a big fan of Superman in the 31st century where he doesn't exist?
Yeah, big fan. Well, at least it wasn't Lois this time. So
she should have winked and we all would have known. That would have been, I also like your mom too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the Legion of Superheroes, you've got so many characters, powers, settings, villains, just across the board. I mean, the problem with Legion of Superheroes has always been there's so much to do that as a writer, you don't know where to even begin. And with this run of it, it never goes anywhere. It never starts anything. It's a bunch of, this is like that United Nations game that they used to play in elementary school where all the kids would pretend to be one country and they would get together and just have dumb arguments. That is this book in a nutshell.
Absolutely. And that is what this essentially this issue celebrates, is pointless arguments that lead to nowhere. And that it just permeates it. It continues on and on as I guess Cosmic Boy starts being insecure about his leadership because Saturn Girl's kind of laying seeds of doubt in him because they're going to do like a new vote on everything. But along the way, we get this really stupid conversation between the triplet people and they can't stop saying I, they, and a bunch of other stupid pronouns along the way. Then we get, I think his lightning lad. He brings his family to the Legion of Superheroes, but the apartment that he made for him sucked.
I mean, nothing is interesting in this comic. Nothing is interesting in this comic. I mean, it just, the one good thing about this whole book is that the penciler gets so much of their art covered up with word bubbles. It's almost like it hides the fact this penciler did anything, which in this case is a gift. If you were the art team on this book, you would want to be as far away from it as possible. It is nothing happens. It's just pages and pages and pages of people talking or nothing goes on. And then a promise that this series continues. I mean, that's the worst part. You get to the end, it's like, it's not over. There's going to be more comics. This is going to just go on and go on. I'm speechless. Right. It's the opposite of the comic.
I'm gonna serenade you here, Perch, because this is some of the fucking worst dialogue I've ever seen. granted, they were like 90 characters in this comic page. I believe all of them have a speaking role, but I got to read it to you because it's almost unbelievable. When I finished reading this page, my fucking jaw was down by my ankles because I was astonished at what I had just completed. So I think this is Cosmic Boy starting. This is exactly what I'm talking about. And then Brainiac 5 says, I'm just trying to call the meeting to order. But the leader of the Legion of Superheroes should call the Legion of Superheroes meeting. But this Legion of Superheroes meeting is about the leader of the Legion. He's right. You can't call the meeting if you're the subject of the meeting. Rock, sit. Let's do the vote proper. Oh, are you voting on something? I think Saturn Girl is challenging Cosmic Boy's authority. So rude. You're losing the room, Brainy. Are there assigned seats? Shh, Jam, you're missing the good stuff. Oh, I was really hoping this was an award ceremony. This is, to me. Long live the Legion. Now that we're a full Legion, the idea has been put forth that we hold a proper vote for leadership. All hands in favor. What are we doing? Raise the appendage of your choice if you would like to vote for a leader. Rock, Kryn, would you like to officially announce your candidacy for leadership? I already am, so yes. Are there any other candidates for leader? Right here.
Just insert a fart noise. I mean, what do you do with that? I mean, I'm sorry. It's like, why in the fuck would anyone make this and then make people read it? Like,
this is what you do. This is what you do. You take the appendage of your choice, you turn that sumbitch sideways, and you just stick it straight up your own ass for reading this word shit. Like, what the fuck?
I would pay to see like Keith Giffen or some of the any of the people who have done Legendary Legion of Superheroes. Just force them to sit down and read this and just film their reaction. Like this. Don't you wish you'd killed off the whole team like 20 years ago? Because this is what would happen. If you should have, all these people should have died in a crisis, so this never could take place. I don't know. It's somehow
it's drivel, but worse.
It's worse than what Bendis has done before, and yet I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it does make his Superman work look like just the best run of all time. It's Frank Miller.
It's crazy when you think that Jim Shooter got his start in comics on the Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's some.
Let's bring Shooter back and let him edit this shit because I think. Well, let's not do that. We might put him in an early grave just by just looking at this. And there's like another weird scene. There's a lot of weird scenes. There's another weird scene after this where someone nominates John Kent Superboy for the role of leadership.
I mean, why not?
And he's all timid. He's like, "Oh no, I can't be." It's like, as far as I know, that is not the character of Superboy. He wouldn't have appreciated it, but he would have stood up and said yes.
I mean, who knows anymore? None of these people make any sense. They don't relate to anything at all. And I mean, God bless you. If you are reading this comic and enjoy it, I mean, more power to you. I don't know how you do it. I'd love to just learn what kind of amazing fortitude you have, because it's just a terrible, terrible comic. And here, I mean, like it's a double page spread. The artist is putting in effort into all the, I mean, maybe not that weird ass face of Brainiac down there, but the others, like there's a lot of work. And imagine being the penciler who's sitting here trying to draw this. I mean, imagine the poor bastard who has to read the script and then draw.
Ryan Sook, probably the most tortured man in comics right now.
Sook's got to just be on death watch at this point, sitting at that artist table having to draw this crap, knowing that this is what the output that's going to come in. I mean,
you want a buffet of chicken wings and alien brownies at the table?
Yeah, while we leave up space for some parliamentary debate about voting rights. And I mean, somebody start that guy a GoFundMe right now to just like put him in a McDonald's as a manager, just anything else. It's not worth it. This is not worth being in comics for.
It's certainly not worth reading. So there's another comic that's just as bad. Well, actually, it's not just as bad. It's bad in another way. At least it's somewhat exciting.
Well,
not exciting. There's action. Something happens in this comic book, and that is Iron Man 2020 #5 by Dan Slott. He goes full Bendis on the first page, and he basically explains all the stuff that he just did for 4 issues.
I mean, yeah, which is good news, actually. This is a nice page because if you didn't get issue 1 through 4, you don't have to buy it anymore. It's just here on this page. You could save yourself 4 shitty issues. So it's this is a gift. This is the last gift the comic will give you, because it all goes downhill from here. But again,
the artist does a good job, but everything, of course, is covered up by meandering words.
This is Pete Woods.
It's repetitive.
I think this is Pete Woods that does this.
Yes.
Yeah, so I feel for him too, because he's a decent artist. He's doing penciling and inking, so he gets to deal with this crappy page twice. I mean, this comic is, I did a review. I'm going through all these comics. I decided I'm going to cover every single Iron Man 2020 issue. I regretted that immediately, but I stick by my word, so I'm reading all of them. I'm carefully going through them all. This is issue 5. I mean, I'm hoping I can survive one more issue of this absolutely shitty crossover.
Well, you're not a man if you don't go back and read all the tie-ins and miniseries and cover them as well.
Yeah, I'm not a man. I'll give it up right now.
you don't got the testicular fortitude?
No, I'm okay. I'm she, her now. It's all right.
But there's a lot of stupid stuff in this. We already knew that the cat was the inside man, but the cat gets he gets a saucy one-liner on Cad Bane when she figures out, and she's like, "You really are a genius." And the cat's like, "Meow." Like, this is so stupid. And then Cad Bane decides to destroy her real body because she prefers to be an AI because it's really her villainous that is what transcends, like, makes her who she is. And then there's another part, and I guess Arno Stark for 4 issues has been fighting the AI revolution because he needs to get the AIs and the robots under control because this, like, the singularity is coming to Earth to destroy us, and he needs to have them to fight. But then he decides it's not the AI that are the problem. He needs to control people. So he's going to use, like, Stark
crap,
like a satellite to basically make all people like under his control, because it turns out the AI that he's been fighting for 4 issues, they weren't the problem, it was the people. So he does that, and then Tony Stark, who has somehow reconstructed himself, they like put him in a petri dish, and they kind of grew him out of different strains of DNA, and then threw his conscience in there from Friday. He shows up, and he's got new armor, but it's invisible armor. Yeah. And we get the reveal, Perch, what his real armor is. It's imagination.
Yeah. I mean,
basically, his armor on him, he's like, haha, you have metal armor. My armor is imagination.
Yeah. I mean, once upon a time, they made Tony Stark evil, and then a kid version came out, and that was a new Iron Man. This was a kid, and that was so much better than this. Just so much better. Like, this comic, I mean, on every level, you're confused because they built up to the 2020 event for like 30 years in many ways. This was the event that was going to define Marvel's year, by the way. This was the first one out the gate. They promoted the robot revolution. I mean, it is a perfect kind of time capsule for everything that went wrong with the company. And you also have to feel like, what did they drug and tie up Christos Gage? Because he's helping. I mean, he bears partial responsibility for this comic with Dan Slott. This is just awful. I mean, everything you just heard is not an exaggeration. We got Tony Stark DNA goo. We have a sassy cat. We've got Sunset Bane, whose new name is Mistress Menace, or I mean, Madam Menace. Sorry, Madam Menace.
Yeah. There's also Herbie, the foul mouth, like Rambo robot.
Yeah, he's there shooting some stuff. I mean, it just. And then the imagination armor. I mean, what are you going to do? So
anything I imagine, I can use. Like,
and what he imagines is punching him in the face, as it turns out. So it is. This comic makes no sense. It is an excuse for something, but it's hard to tell what, because what you hope is that in the first issue of the new Iron Man series, that the new writer's like, I don't know what the fuck all that was, and just starts new, just like Tony wakes up.
That's what it sounds like he's doing. He said he's scrapping everything, and he's getting rid of all the armor.
Tony needs to like wake up on a bus stop somewhere, like, oh man, that was, I don't know why I got a roofied. All right,
Yeah.
let's go. That's you need
This is like some like Peter Pan bullshit. Like, use your imagination.
Sure.
I like the Muppet Babies. When my 5-year-old is watching the Muppet Babies, I'll actually watch it with him because I think the series is interesting.
Yeah.
But using that as like the power behind Tony Stark's Iron Man armor.
Yeah, I guess this is a Muppet Babies comic. There you go.
I wish it were Muppet Babies. It'd be more fun.
Yeah, it is really a terrible comic. You do feel for Pete Woods because he's not a bad guy, and he's having to like Sook. They're having to draw this crap. So a moment of silence for the poor artists who laid down their lives to give us this garbage. It is a shame.
And then, so we get the final reveal, and this is the biggest kick in the nuts. So Tony Stark, as Mark I, has been leading the robot revolution with Machine Man against Arno Stark to stop him from controlling machines because Arno Stark is crazy. And on the last page, we find out he's not crazy. The Singularity's arrived. And the thing that he's been trying to protect Earth from and trying to get all these robots in line so he can fight is actually real. Yeah. He was right all along. Tony Stark was wrong. He was trying to destroy Earth.
I mean, sure. I mean, I was wrong for reading the comic. I was wrong for trying to read the reviews. There's a lot of wrong in this. I mean, this wraps up in one more issue. It's hard to believe. I think this series had 24, over 20 crossover issues. It's hard to just imagine imagine the poor collector who's going to spend $100 and some odd bucks on this thing. So many bad choices. I don't know. This was an absolutely terrible card, but like Legion of Superheroes, maybe you're enjoying it. I mean, it does appeal to a certain, you got some food poisoning and you're drunk and you don't really know what you're reading. It does appeal to that audience. So, if it works for you, good for you. But this is
lead paint chips with the kids, maybe.
I have no idea who would like this comic, but again, if you did, good for you. But this really is a bounty of garbage we got this week with these two. Just two terrible comics.
Perch, let me ask you something serious. How am I supposed to trust Marvel that's going to take their new diversity initiative seriously and get good hires into the company and start promoting people of color, minority groups, into positions that they deserve if they can't do a fucking Iron Man 2020 event without embarrassing themselves?
I just hope I see stuff like this and it's like, bring in all the new hires. All of them. Get rid of the old hires.
Well, yes, it's time to clean house. I'll give you that.
I'm all for it. Like, bring in all the new hires you want from wherever. I don't care anymore. Do they have a writing background? It doesn't matter. Read this comic. It does not matter.
Based on what Tom Brevoort just tweeted out recently, this editor probably, earned the $28,000 in New York that he got paid.
Yeah, the tweet you referred to is it just in the midst of all this low pay and everything else, Tom Brevoort decides to go make a point that editors should shut up and not take credit for comics, that they need to let the creators themselves take credit, and that glomming onto that is foul play. And if they don't like it, they can just take their check. And now, in fairness, no editor wants to take credit for either of these two comics. I'm sure that is true. But
if you could remove my name from this, I would appreciate it.
I would take a pay cut in order to get my name off this comic.
I told Dan it was a bad idea. He didn't listen.
I'm trying to picture. So keep in mind the event that this story you're looking at right now was Dan Slott's pitch to Marvel to take over Iron Man. It all led up to this. This was his end game, and this was.
They've got problems, Perch. They got real problems.
I'm terrified where Fantastic Four is going. What's the end game of that book going to look like?
Oh man.
Yeah, just awful. Just an awful book. So I can't stress enough how terrible these two comics were.
Absolutely. So I do appreciate you filling in for Pele. Obviously, he'll be back here next week. I will be changing up the release dates when we do these videos. Sunday will be This Week in X-Men. Monday will be Worst of the Week. That way, if something comes up again, I'll have an extra day and we can get Pele back on for the show and stuff like that, because I can't really release this video on like a Wednesday after the new comic week already starts. So we're gonna change things up. I do appreciate you coming on here, getting your swear on and talking about just some bullshit comics, man. This is some bullshit, dude. Bullshit.
I am calm guy. Pele is much better suited for this than me in so many ways. I'm Mr. Zen, but these two comics, just
They try you, don't they? They try you.
They try your very belief in a orderly system. It's none of this exists. I don't even know what to say. I'm just rambling at this point. These comics are so terrible.
Yeah. Well, if you enjoyed this, there should be an icon right now or in a few seconds where you can go to Perch's channel, subscribe to his channel. I highly encourage that because Perch is a great guy. He has a fantastic YouTube channel. It's all about comics.
Thank you very much. And usually nicer, but there you go.